White Wedding. So in 1983, we played the ranch in Williams Lake. You know, every day that you woke up to the stripper. At that time, if you're in a band, you know, so there was the band, the Feldman Room up the street where all the fancy people went. Then there was the other place, and we always played the other place, right? It's where bands were starting out. And, you know, there was a stripper that had her show at noon. So every day you would wake up with a mild draft beer hangover to White Wedding, and the other tune would be Electric Avenue. So at that time, we were a 4-piece band. Matt on guitar, Darwin on drums, Bruce on bass, and I played harmonica and sax. And everybody sang. We were perfect for this room because they were low life. There was, at that time in BC, you see, people were working in the woods. People were truck driving. People were working on farms. There was money out there. No internet. There was nothing on television. Basically, if you went to a smaller town like that in the 80s and people heard the band was good, everybody went to the bar. Everybody got drunk. Just about every night, people did coke that didn't kill them. Sometimes the RCMP would drive people home. If they knew they were too drunk, they would stop them from getting in their cars. And it was a small town. It was different rules at the time. You know, I'm mostly a salesman. That's what I am. I'm an entertainer. I'm a musician, but I'm really a salesman. So I always made sure that we tried to sell as much alcohol as possible. I know it's not a good thing to encourage people to get drunk, to encourage people to cheat on their wives and husbands, to do drugs, to do stupid shit, but we encouraged that behavior, and the bars appreciated it and paid us a whole bunch of money back. So, I had mixed feelings, but you know, at that time we were making $100 a night, and the same as you get make now. 1983 was a long, long time ago. So every night after the show, we would go up to the room. You know, of course, it's a dump. We'd go up to the room. Sometimes girls would come up with us. One guy would set up the Monopoly board. So we finished at 1:30 in the morning. And across the street was the Boot Cabaret, the country bar. So one guy would keep an eye for cowboy fights. Because especially Friday, Saturday, the cowboys would come out. You know, sometimes it was cowboys versus Native people. Sometimes it was cowboys versus the bush hippies. There's all those people that live between Bella Coola and Williams Lake that live out in the bush. And I got to tell you, they're pretty damn tough. So one guy would keep an eye to watch for the fights. One guy would roll a couple joints. We always put $500 in a joint in free parking in Monopoly. So the Monopoly was just something that we had to do. The only thing we watched on television was Hawaii Five-0 back to back because it was on BCTV 1983, 84, 85. All we saw was at 2:30 and 3:30 Hawaii Five-0, and we knew every single one. So there's 5-0 in there. If girls came out to visit us, we would tell them that you can have our key and go to our room, but we're going to play the Monopoly game. That was a whole thing in the Finns. Monopoly was super important. So, of course, at that time, draft beer was mostly free. Everybody drank draft. 5 beer. That's what it meant. If you do this, there's a table full of beer. If you ask for a bottle, the bartender or the waiter would say, the gay bar's up the street. What do you want a bottle for? You want a beer or not, right? So it was basically a tray full of draft. You drank draft. We encouraged people to drink draft. People bought us draft. The club bought us draft. We got drunk on draft just about every night. And then in the morning, we'd wake up to White Wedding or Electric Avenue. Near. Oh, great. Draft hangover. The thing that's super cool about that time is that all we did was hang out. We practiced a little bit, but we also had meetings about stupid shit we could do to make the crowd go crazy, you know, and everybody had faith in everybody. Anyway, one time, the owner of the hotel came to me and he said, hey, the stripper's late. And the male stripper, because it was, so of course, male stripper night, there's a huge lineup of guys waiting to hook up with some drunk and horny women. And it was a big deal. And the strippers were expensive, and the owner's name was Ray. He had to fly the guy in. I said, hey, $200 credit at the bar, and I guarantee you, no one will leave before the stripper gets there. It's a deal, okay? So I went upstairs, to my guitarist, Matt, who ended up running an art gallery. I took my shirt off. I said, gave him a felt pen. I said, draw a cock and balls on my chest. Now, the best part of that was he didn't ask me why. He knew I had a diabolical plan. So he drew this cock and balls. I'm still looking for the picture on my chest. I said, okay, let's go down and start. We're starting early. Okay. So we went downstairs and we had we had the Bruno Gerussi lookalike contest for women. We had the show your titty competition where women would pull their shirts up and we said, there's going to be a stripper. You guys ready for the stripper? Well, let's see your tits, and anyway, so we got them all going. Then I had the band crank into the stripper. Na, 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 na. And of course, our drum was right, with the rim shots and everything. And of course, I opened up my shirt to show the cock and balls. The whole place went nuts. 20 minutes later, the stripper showed up. Everybody went nuts with the stripper. We played through the rest of the night. We drank all our free draft, which we probably would have gotten. We drank $200 worth of draft between what we drank gave away that night. I don't know, maybe the owner ripped us off. Went up and partied with the strippers all night and woke up with a hangover to white wedding the next day. Near, 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 balloon, balloon, balloon. White wedding.